Good evening. It's wonderful to be here tonight. Thank you to everyone at Women's Day for your unyielding devotion to women and heart health. The American Heart Association is so fortunate to have had a long-standing relationship with Women's Day, including Editor-in-Chief Susan Spencer, Publisher and Chief Revenue Officer Cassie Means. Together, we are shining a light on heart disease, the #1 health threat for women, and it is a privilege to team with you. You might expect tonight's honoree to be a cardiologist, yet tonight we recognize someone who brings a unique perspective to women's health. We honor this evening Dr. Jenifer Ashton, an esteemed OBGYN, acclaimed journalist, and pioneer in the women's health movement. Many of you know Jen as the chief medical correspondent for ABC News and ABC's Good Morning America. Dr. Ashton is an accomplished journalist and a physician who is deeply committed to public health, and her impact is remarkable. Largely to her credit, the link between women's heart health and reproductive health is gaining tremendous momentum. Just last September, Dr. Ashton hosted a dynamic panel discussion featuring the American Heart Association and Women's Day, fittingly called "Your Heart is a Lady Part." The daughter of a cardiologist and of a registered nurse, health advocacy is in Dr. Ashton's DNA, and her passion is evident in all that she does. As a journalist, her ability to transform complex scientific data into health news everyone can use sets her apart. A little more than a year ago, she shared an incredible story with me about a Good Morning America viewer who saw a segment on the symptoms of a heart attack, recognized those symptoms in herself, and immediately called 911. Kathy Patterson is alive today because of it. Suffice it to say, Dr. Ashton's work is raising awareness, and it is saving lives. As a dear friend of the American Heart Association and a keynote presenter at Go Red for Women events around the country, Dr. Ashton has reached millions of women with her inspiring message that we all have the power to take control of our heart health. Whether on the air, in the community, or anywhere that she finds herself, Dr. Ashton has devoted countless hours inspiring women to know their numbers, learn their family history, and to live heart healthy. In everything she does, Dr. Ashton's dedication and vision have had a remarkable impact on the mission of the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement. See for yourself.
This is the actual study right here, Robin. We're talking about the #1 killer of men and women. 80% of heart disease is preventable with certain modifiable risk factors. That's the message that needs to be repeated here. Let me tell you about this study. It appeared in the Journal of the American Heart Association. They looked at short sleep duration. It is one of the most important things you can do for your health. Once you have high blood pressure, you have increased resistance in these blood vessels. That pump has to work harder to circulate the blood, and over time, this does major damage. You need to know your numbers. If you are a woman and you are feeling something bizarre from your jaw to your belly button, call 911, think heart attack. It's better to be wrong than be dead. Many, many lives have been saved. This message, this education is life-saving. People need to know about it.
I am honored to present the 2018 Red Dress Award to Dr. Jenifer Ashton.
Nancy, thank you so much for your incredibly kind words. This award means so much to me, partially because I literally grew up with medicine in my blood. As Nancy mentioned, my father is a practicing cardiologist here in New York City, and my mother is a retired registered nurse. I have incredibly vivid memories of sitting at our dinner table and hearing words like myocardial infarct, which is the medical term for heart attack, which when you're 5 years old sounds a lot like another silly word that would make my brother and me laugh. We were incredibly mature. And I remember also going to the hospital with my father when he used to make rounds, and I would sit at the nurse's station coloring and watching the EKG telemetry monitors of all the patients who had heart attacks. So fast forward to medical school when I decided to specialize in OBGYN, though I did briefly consider going into cardiac surgery. OBGYN turned out to be the perfect field for me. It allows me to take care of the whole woman, head to toe, hopefully for decades. And in my geeky medical family, I would often joke around with my father, and I would ask him very seriously, "Dad, do you know what the function of the heart is?" And he would get a very serious look on his face, and before he could answer, I would say, "Dad, everyone knows the function of the heart is to pump blood to the uterus." So, little OBGYN humor. So it turns out that the fields of cardiology and OBGYN actually are related. And with the realization that several common conditions like preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, and polycystic ovarian syndromes are now risk factors for heart disease, the fields of cardiology and OBGYN must finally come together in our care of women before they become patients and before they become statistics. And at a time when often the only doctor a woman may see is her gynecologist, when those very visits and access to health care are being threatened, and when the well woman checkup appears to be retreating, it is truly more important than ever for all of us to take responsibility for awareness, education, and prevention. In my field, we can no longer point a figurative finger at our cardiology colleagues and say, "That's your area," because as the saying goes, when you point a finger at someone, remember there are three pointing right back at you. So it is our responsibility in OBGYN to screen for risk factors for heart disease and to advocate for prevention. And I promise to continue to, yes. I promise to continue to do everything I can to help move the needle in that direction. But women must also share the responsibility for protecting our own health by asking our gynecologists about heart disease. Knowing your risk factors, even if they occurred decades ago, can truly save your life. And in the process, you may even educate your doctor, because in medicine, we learn from our patients as much as they hopefully learn from us. In the media, we have a powerful responsibility to bring medical stories to the public that do much more than simply get good ratings. We have an opportunity to teach, to inform, to demonstrate, explain, and analyze. I am incredibly proud of how we do this at ABC News and at Good Morning America in particular. And while it is nice to be number one in the news world, that is, I look forward to a day when heart disease is no longer number one. So I want to congratulate tonight's other honorees, as well as the American Heart Association and Women's Day magazine for the incredible work that you all do. And I share this incredible honor with my patients, my colleagues at my medical practice, and at ABC News, and with my family. Thank you.